All right, I wanted to come in live a little later than most people. I didn't want to address this early. I just wanted to collect my thoughts and just kind of talk about what's happening. It was crazy with the death of Charlie Kirk today. The world is up in arms because of the massive separation that has happened over the last, I'd say the last 8 years, 9 years. And man, it's sad. I just look at it from like a human perspective. You know, there's a parable that I remember as a kid going to Catholic school, and I'm not like a super religious person. I don't like preaching religion to people. I just, I try to, let people know how important faith is, at least where it's played in my life. And that's it. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your ethnicity is. But what's funny is that, in the last 2 days, and this isn't funny, but, what's ironic is in the last 2 days, we've lost, several lives due to just ignorance. And in yesterday, I was checking on a job site, and I show up to this job site, and there's this Hispanic man that's talking about about the murder in New York City, and then he starts using racial slurs against the man who murdered her. And I sat back and I'm like, you're no better than the asshole that killed her, and so I sit back and I go, and then I think about it today, and people, I hear people talking about who the murderer is. They don't even know who the murderer is, but they're like accusing the white man, and they're accusing like all these people, right? And I'm sitting back, and I just remember being young and being discriminated against. And I remember being discriminating myself. You all have. I don't care who you are. You've done it. Every single one of us is guilty as charged at some point in time in our lives. I don't give a shit who you are, how good you think you are. You've done it. Period. You've thought it. You've done it. And I have too. All of us have done it. And the biggest problem in the world is there's no accountability. And there's like this mass separation that has justification. I tell my wife this, because we've been ridiculed our whole lives for being entrepreneurs. We don't even do anything wrong to anybody, but because we've done well financially, there's been certain people in our lives that think that we're less than good people because we've been ambitious enough to go after the better things in life financially. What the fuck is that? Like that you your hate on me because of that? I remember being young, and because I was Hispanic growing up on the other side of the train tracks. Yeah, I'm shorter than most people, but I mean, if you allow the discrimination, then it's going to affect you. I've just never allowed it. But there's some things that are beyond our control, ladies and gentlemen. What happened today with Charlie Kirk is beyond our control, and it's unacceptable. And the thing is I know that we all have a voice of our own opinions, and it's great to have our own opinions, but not when it's at the separation of human life, right? When I was talking about this parable that when I was younger, and it talked about how, and I can't even remember what part of the scripture it is, because like I tell you guys, I don't remember also. I just remember things that are important to me in life, right? And I kind of live my life behind them. And I remember I went to Catholic school, so like I just remember this stuff. I couldn't read worth a shit. That was another thing I was just discriminated against when I was younger. I couldn't fucking read. You guys saw the post today, like where I'm reading out of the scripture and I'm reading my post. Guys, I'm friggin' dyslexic, guys. So like, you can sit back and go, oh, Jerome can't read. No shit. I can't read. I can't. Like, I suck at reading. But guess what? I'm a best document reader you'll ever read because I read friggin' slow, right? And I'm damn good at math. So I use my attributes, right? So I can use that to hinder me. I can use it, I can allow people to discriminate against me, or I can stop caring. And to my benefit, I stopped caring what you guys thought. That's why I can do this right now, because I can speak freely. You guys can put anything you guys want on there, and I really don't care. My kids will look at it, they'll laugh at me, they'll laugh with me, we'll all laugh about it at the house, because we don't really care, right? Like, I don't really know a lot of you guys. I want to know a lot of you guys. But this separation that we have right now is like, it's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Like, even like with my own parents, like, like we have this massive separation. Like, I was raised Democrat, guys. Like, I was raised that way. Like, even on my voting card, I was raised that way. Like, it's still on my freaking voting card. I can't even change the damn thing. I've tried changing it to Republican, like, I don't know how many friggin' times. And it's like, I think God's playing a funny game with me because he's saying, Jerome, be fair to people. Like, who cares if you're a Republican or Democrat? What's on there? Just vote whatever you want to vote. Like, it really doesn't matter on there. And I've tried changing that thing for the last 20 years, guys, and I haven't been able to. So I think it's just like a little joke, right? Like my wife teases me. She's like, I changed mine. Yours can't get changed. She's tried changing it for me and it can't get changed. And, like, does it really matter? Like, I think about it and I go, do I hate my parents because they're like left-hand radical Democrats? Do I hate my in-laws, my family because they think in that way? They make comments about it and I love them, and I don't hold anything against them. They have the freedom to pick and choose how they want to think. Now, do I have to agree with that? No. And it's different. Like if they hated me because of the way I thought, then that, I was trying to sell them on my beliefs. I don't try to sell them on my beliefs. I live in a place of example. I try to be a good person. I'm not a great person. You guys know me, man. You guys watch me on social media. I'm hard as shit on myself. I'm hard on you guys. I'm hard on every fucking person around me. But I'm the hardest on me. And it's just because I have high expectations of myself. And so if you work around me, you know that you're going to be held to those high expectations. But if you have beliefs that I don't believe in, as long as you're a good person, there was this guy, his name was Andrew, and he worked out at the gym with me forever. And there's this other guy named Pat, Big Pat. And Pat came out of prison. Pat went to go to ministry school. And this true story, we worked out at Gold's Gym all together when I first moved back to Albuquerque. Years back, 28 years ago. And I remember that Pat would come back from like ministry school to be a pastor after he got out of prison. And there was this guy, Andrew. We got into talking. We talked in between sets, all of us. And Andrew one day made mention that he was atheist. Like his parents had never really raised him with a religion. And man, Pat like fed into this, man. Like he just like took it personal that he was atheist, right? Like he didn't have a religious belief. And Pat would just drill into him every fucking day, every day, trying to sell him on Christianity. One day, friggin' Andrew popped his lid. He just fucking popped it, Pat. If you know Pat's just a fucking big friggin' steroid boy from prison, and he comes out and it's like, and Andrew's like, look, motherfucker. He's like, I wasn't raised with religion. I just believe that if you just treat people right and you're just good to everybody and you do to others as you want to be treated, then that's all I believe. It's the golden fucking rule. I just wasn't raised like that. He goes, and if that's so bad, then fuck you and fuck your religion, And it was true, right? I sat back and I was like, damn, Andrew has something, like Andrew has a point here, man. Like, and I remember that. And I was sitting back, and it's just those pinnacle pieces in your life where you sit back and go, look, man, Andrew made sense, Look, just leave him alone, man. Andrew has his own beliefs, but he was a damn good friend of all of ours. So what do? Ridicule Andrew because his family didn't grow up in the church or didn't grow up in faith or didn't grow up in Judaism or Christianity or Buddhism or Muslim or whatever it is that you believe in? Like you're gonna ridicule the guy? He's a good person. He's a good dude. I like Andrew. If I see Andrew now, I still like Andrew years later. Democrat, Republican, some of the people that you guys love, you guys are at odds with because of bullshit, guys. Why? Like why? Why are you at odds with them? I was treated like that. When I got into entrepreneurship, I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. But because I left college a year from graduating, people wanted to see me fail. They hated on me because I wanted to go be self-employed and I was ambitious. I wanted to go do something more. And they hated on me for it. But why? Like, what did I do to you? Because I want to go out and do something. I even got calls from one of my best friend's moms. I was sending my buddy Think and Grow Rich books in the mail from Virginia back to Albuquerque. And I was sending him How to Win Friends and Influence People books. And I was sending him Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And I was sending him, Rhino Success by Alexander, by Scott Alexander. And I sent him all these books. And I get a weird call. Like, hey, I'm like, hey. And they're like, yeah, this is Francis. Jerome, I need to talk to you. And he's like, oh yeah, Francis, how are you doing? And it's one of my best buddies, my best friend's mom. She goes, I just want to tell you, that I just don't appreciate you sending my son these types of books. And so I just listen. I'm quiet. And I go, okay, what type of books exactly are you talking about? Oh, you mean like self-improvement books, like on success? So she goes, yeah, well, not all of us were built for that. It's okay for us people to want to be like normal, like an electrician or whatever it is. Like, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I have nothing against that. but like literally ridiculing me for the fact that I was trying to motivate her son to go out and do bigger things when we were like 20 years old, guys. And I said, okay, we're all subject to our own opinions, but God forbid, guys, like there's a limit, right? Like there's a limit. And the limit was pushed today. And I just, I know it scared my wife. We're on stages all the time. I'm in front of thousands of people every single month. And she goes, Jerome, please promise me that, you're just not going to, because I can get pretty rowdy, guys, and you know that. And she goes, can you just please promise me that that you'll just watch your P's and Q's, and just keep your politics to yourselves. And I said, yeah, baby, that's fine. I promise, I don't really get into politics a lot with you guys. I mean, when it has to do with real estate and what we're doing in business, I always, I'm always going to favor what we do in business and what benefits our families and our lives, right? That's like, I'm always going to do that. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. But when the world is put on reserve and the wives are scared for their husbands because of what we do for a living, because the world can't accept the fact that like there's diversification and people are subject to their own opinions, and they're gonna kill because of their beliefs. There's something wrong with our society, guys. We're all subject to our opinions. I don't ask you guys to believe in what I believe in. I say, shut me off. Like, if you don't believe in what I believe in, fine, shut me off, I'm trying to do for you guys like what I did to my buddy Louie years ago. And if you're a Francis and you just don't want your kids to hear about success and how to make it financially, then don't hear about it. Okay? Like don't do it. Like, shut it off, right? Like Francis called me and we shut it off. But, you have to decide, but stop the racial slurs, guys. Like, let Democrats be Democrats. Like, I can't fix that, I don't get it, I don't understand it. But there's radical Republicans too, guys. And, so what am I going to do? Say, oh, Republicans are right? No, fuck no. There's shitty Republicans too, guys. It takes two. There's two sides. There's Democrats right now that are fucked in the head, and there's Republicans right now that are also fucked in the head. You guys all that are fucked in the head need to get it together, guys. Like, do what's right for your family, live in your own opinions, but gosh darn it, keep it civil. Keep it civil, guys. A life is not worth losing over the bullshit. Right? That's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. You have to think about it long term. Is this really going to affect me long term? And I tell myself this a lot. Like, I just went through it with an electrician of mine that works for me, and he's a piece of shit, right? And I like literally want to go to his house, like in my mind, right? Like, my anger so much that he pissed me off so bad. I want to go to his house, my truck, peel out in his front lawn until he comes out, beat the crap out of him, run my truck through his fucking house, and then go home. And that would make me feel good. Would it? But then I think to myself, I told my wife tonight, I said, you know what? I think about these guys that fuck with us, like that just don't do what's right. You pay them, they don't come back. And people ask me about like contractors and stuff. And I go, therein by the grace of God go I. And I've always said that. My mentor said, he goes, Jerome, just look, you can't fix stupid, right? He just goes, just remind yourself that you're on and you're doing bigger and better things. And just remind yourself, there and by the grace of God go I. Okay? And so I just thought, these guys always go full circle. I will still, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I will still be thriving at what I do because I've been doing it my whole life. Because I won't stop. You're going to have to put me in a grave to stop me from thriving, guys. And even then, now I have so much stuff on the internet. My kids will carry on my legacy. I will continue thriving from my fucking grave, guys, because that's how hard I've worked. And so, but these shitty people like that, they kill themselves because they're mentally limited, and their mental limitations kill themselves. You don't even have to do anything. Your success will hold its own 2 feet if you just go out and do what's right. Let those people crush themselves. You can't fix stupid. I can't fix my stupid electrician. He's an idiot. And, so let him kill himself. In 5 years from now, he'll be broke or still be in the same situation as now, which is broke. And I'll continue thriving and moving forward. and he'll hate me even more because the reason they hate me is because they see me on the internet and they see me going out buying Ferraris and buying expensive cars and traveling all over the world and promoting and buying buildings and doing these things. And then I'm negotiating with them to take $1,000 off my electrical bill, and they freaking hate me for it. I'm just doing business, guys. It's just business. Hate it, love it, whatever. But nonetheless, guys, just understand that we're all subject to our own opinions. My prayers, my blessings to Charles Kirk, his family, his wife, man, his kids. I just can't even stop thinking about his family, And I didn't know Charlie well. I met him once backstage at an event about 3 years ago. And I can't say if he was a good guy, bad guy. I don't know. I love what he stood for. I thought he was outspoken. I respect all of that. We were backstage at an event. Didn't know who he was back then. Over the course of time, he's grown on me with little clips and little things that he's done, and the way he carried himself in politics, and his stubborn nature of just being raw and true to who he was as a person. But to kill him for who he is is just wrong. That person will live on the other side of hell. And it's just wrong. There's just no and ifs or buts about it. And so I pray for our nation. I pray for equality and mental equality, guys. Like, let's treat each other with some utmost respect. But more so, I pray for the families of those lost loved ones that lost this last week, and the kids, man, the kids. The kids that are left behind. It's just sad to me. Anyways, I just thought I'd come in and just share a real quick moment with you guys. God bless you guys. Good night, and prayers and blessings over the Kirk family and everybody out there. Good night, guys.